Your dog has judged someone before they've even said hello. Not because it can read minds, not because it can sense evil, but because it's noticing something you're completely missing. It happened in less than 3 seconds. A stranger smiled. The owner smiled back. Everything looked completely normal. Then something changed. The wagging stopped. The dog's body became still, and without making a sound, it quietly stepped behind its owner. The stranger laughed. Well, I guess he doesn't like me. A minute later, the stranger walked away. The owner forgot about the moment almost instantly, but the dog didn't. Because while two people were introducing themselves, the dog had already started gathering information that would completely change the way scientists understand dogs. If you've ever lived with a dog, you've probably seen something similar. One visitor arrives, and your dog rushes to the door, tail wagging, eyes bright, instant friendship. Then, another visitor arrives. This time, your dog slows down. It stays beside you. It watches, quietly. Nothing about that person seems unusual. They're smiling, speaking kindly, moving calmly. Yet your dog reacts differently. Most of us explain moments like these the same way. My dog just doesn't trust them. Or, my dog is a good judge of character. It's an idea people have believed for generations. But what if we've been asking the wrong question? Maybe your dog isn't trying to decide whether someone is good or bad. Maybe it's trying to answer something much simpler. Who is this person? That single question changes everything. Because when you meet someone, your brain begins building a first impression almost instantly. Your dog is doing exactly the same thing, but it isn't using the same information. And scientists wanted to know just how far that ability goes. To find out, researchers designed a surprisingly simple experiment. A dog sat quietly beside its owner. On the table was a clear plastic container with a tightly closed lid. Inside was something the owner wanted. The owner twisted the lid, pulled harder, tried again. Nothing. Without saying a word, the owner looked toward two strangers standing nearby. The first stranger immediately stepped forward and helped open the container. The second simply watched. A few moments later, the experiment began again. The owner struggled with the same container, but this time, one stranger deliberately refused to help. Then came the surprising part. Both strangers offered the dog exactly the same treat, the same food, the same hand, the same smile. If treats were all that mattered, every dog should have accepted them, but many didn't. They happily accepted food from the helpful stranger. They accepted food from the neutral stranger, but many quietly turned away from the person who had refused to help. No barking, no growling, just a decision. The dogs weren't reacting to the treat. They were reacting to what they had just seen. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Within seconds, your brain begins building a first impression. Now imagine entering that same room as your dog. Before it looks at a single face, it lowers its nose. It's collecting information. Every person carries a scent that's completely unique. Not just perfume, not just soap, but hundreds of tiny chemical signals your dog can detect. Then it begins watching. The rhythm of your footsteps, the speed of your movements, the way you reach out your hand, the confidence in your posture. No single clue explains who someone is, but together, those tiny details begin forming a picture. And every experience your dog has ever had helps give those clues meaning. A friendly visitor, a frightening encounter, a calm afternoon walk, an unexpected loud noise. Nothing is forgotten. Every new person is quietly compared to memories your dog already has. Not to answer, is this person good? But something much more useful. Does this feel familiar? Does this feel safe? Sometimes, the answer takes only a few seconds. Now let's return to where our story began. The stranger smiled. The owner smiled back. A hand reached out, and the dog quietly stepped behind its owner. At first, that moment felt mysterious. Now, it makes perfect sense. Your dog wasn't reading the stranger's mind. It wasn't predicting the future. It was doing what dogs have done for thousands of years. Watching, listening, smelling, learning. One clue meant very little, but together, those tiny details became a first impression. Not proof, not certainty, just information. Remember the stranger from the beginning? You saw a smile. Your dog noticed much more. That's the difference. Your dog's reaction should never be treated as proof that someone is trustworthy or dangerous. Dogs can make mistakes, just like we can. But every pause, every careful glance, every quiet moment of observation shows something remarkable. Your dog is constantly trying to understand the world it shares with you, not through words, but through patterns. Perhaps the greatest mystery was never hidden inside your dog. Maybe it was hidden inside us, inside the countless signals we send without ever realizing it. Perhaps understanding your dog doesn't begin with teaching it something new. Perhaps it begins the moment you realize your dog has been trying to understand you all along.